Picture this. You walk into a big box store with a very simple, straightforward mission. You just need some notebooks for school and maybe a box of granola bars. But by the time you actually reach the checkout line, your cart is totally overflowing. You've got those sneakers on clearance, the latest trendy water bottle, a few impulse snacks, and of course, a toy just to keep the little ones happy while you shop. Look, we've all been there. Today, we're diving into a fantastic concept in this MoneyForgeUSA explainer that investigates how a quick trip for just a few things can silently drain an American family's bank account. And hey, this is not about shaming anyone for buying nice things for their kids, not at all. Instead, we're going to look at the psychology, the social pressure, and the financial reality of why we all end up spending so much more than we ever planned to. Now take a look at this question. When we think about financial stress, we almost always point the finger at the massive expenses, right? The mortgage, the rent, car payments, or those huge healthcare bills. But quite often, it's actually the tiny, completely untracked daily bleeds that do the most insidious damage to our financial health. A $10 purchase here, a $20 online order there. In isolation, those numbers feel completely harmless. But what if those harmless little trips are actually the exact reason you feel like you're constantly living paycheck to paycheck? Let's break down exactly how this happens.
Section 1. The small purchase trap, or as we like to call it, the just one more thing problem.
So the crucial point here is how effortlessly these unbudgeted items stack up when we're walking down the aisles or browsing online. You throw in a few extra snacks just because they're sitting right there on an end cap display. Or maybe your child spots a gaming accessory they claim they absolutely need to play with their friends. Or an unexpected birthday party pops up and you end up rushing to the store, grabbing something premium just to be safe. And man, let's not forget those late-night online purchases when your guard is totally down. The sheer frictionless nature of just tapping a credit card or adding items to a digital cart makes this just one more thing trap incredibly easy to fall into.
Section 2. Why we overspend. Emotional spending. To fix this financial leak, we really have to uncover the psychology driving it. Parents often spend way more than planned because we are deeply driven by love, guilt, and advertising aimed directly at our kids. Think about it for a second. As a working adult, your time is stretched incredibly thin. Sometimes buying a toy or special treat is just a way to alleviate the guilt of working those long hours. Or perhaps you use a small purchase to reward good behavior after a particularly tough week. On top of that, advertising companies spend billions of dollars perfectly tuning their commercials and digital ads to make kids feel like they absolutely must have a product to be happy. As parents, our emotional response is to provide and protect, and that makes us incredibly susceptible to emotional spending.
And this emotional spending heavily fuels what we call the keep up trap. This is driven by social media platforms constantly exposing children to must-have trends that make totally normal items feel instantly outdated. You see, it's no longer just about keeping up with the literal neighbors next door. Through TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube influencers, your kids are keeping up with the entire world. They're seeing influencers unbox the latest phones, designer clothing, or $300 gaming consoles. This constant exposure creates an intense social pressure. We desperately want our kids to fit in and avoid feeling left out, but trying to match these artificially inflated lifestyles, that is a surefire way to quietly but severely damage a household budget. Now, we might smile at our kids begging for a trendy toy, but let's be real, adults fall into the exact same psychological shopping cycle. We convince ourselves that we absolutely need that new piece of home decor to make the living room pop, or that buying a new brand of fitness gear is finally going to get us into the gym. We upgrade our phones way before the old ones are even broken. We eat at expensive restaurants, and we let digital subscriptions pile up completely unwatched and unused. We are driven by the exact same advertising, emotional impulses, and social pressures as the younger generation.
Section 3. Retail illusions. Sales versus savings.
Okay, so sales, limited time offers, and free shipping thresholds are not always savings. In fact, it's one of the most common retail traps in existence. Your brain sees 50% off and immediately thinks, wow, I'm saving $50. But the stark reality is you are actually spending $50 on something that wasn't even on your list. Retailers engineer bundles, those buy two, get one free events, and free shipping minimums specifically to make you stretch your budget. You end up spending $20 extra on things you literally do not need just to save $5 on shipping. It's a brilliant illusion, but it completely works against our financial health.
And then there's this. Buy now, pay later systems are incredibly dangerous because they make expensive purchases feel deceptively small. These installment systems are absolutely everywhere now at checkout. Instead of seeing a painful $200 price tag, you see 4 easy payments of $50. Wow, that feels incredibly manageable, right? But the danger outlined here is the snowball effect. You do this for a pair of shoes, then for a gaming console, then maybe for some home decor. Suddenly, those quote-unquote small payments overlap, you completely lose track, and an enormous chunk of your monthly income is spoken for before the month even begins.
Section 4. True cost over time. Let's look at the real math.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how just a few realistic, discretionary purchases for the kids rapidly balloon into hundreds of dollars a month. Look at this breakdown. $75 on a couple of extra toys, $100 on some trendy clothes or sneakers so they fit in, $50 on gaming passes or subscriptions, another $75 on random snacks or a quick stop at the drive-thru. Now, none of these individual categories seem outrageously reckless for a typical American family, but when you tally them all up, you are suddenly looking at $300 of unplanned, emotionally driven spending every single month.
And here's the kicker. That $300 a month turns into a massive $3,600 annual leak. When you stretch that timeline out, the impact is just staggering. $3,600 a year. Think about the opportunity cost here. If you redirected even half of that money into an emergency fund, a college savings account, or a long-term family investment, the compounding results over 10 or 20 years would be literally life-changing. Instead, it evaporated into toys that get broken, clothes that are quickly outgrown, and snacks that are long gone.
Section 5. Smartest strategies for a much better system. To stop emotional spending in its tracks, we need a smarter system, and here are some rapid-fire solutions. First, establish a hard monthly budget specifically for the kids' wants. When the money's gone, it's gone. Next, the 24-hour rule is absolute pure gold. If you see something you want, wait one full day. You'll be amazed at how quickly that impulse just fades away. Also, consider buying quality items that last instead of constantly replacing cheap, poorly made products. And for the adults, please unsubscribe from those promotional emails. They are digital traps. Finally, remove your saved credit cards from your phone and your shopping apps. Forcing yourself to physically get up and find your wallet adds just enough friction to make you second-guess a bad purchase. And always stick to a list.
Now let's dive into an essential strategy. There's a profound shift in parenting philosophy that can really help here. Teaching your children basic money habits is far, far more valuable than simply buying them everything they want. Instead of shielding your kids from financial realities, involve them. Start with the basics. What is a need, like groceries, versus a want, like a new video game? Give them an age-appropriate allowance and let them practice saving up for something big. They will learn delayed gratification firsthand. When you're at the store, compare prices together. Say something like, look, if we buy this generic brand, we save $2, which we can put toward our family vacation. You're giving them an education that will protect them for the rest of their lives.
Which brings us to the $500 question. This shifts your mindset entirely from restriction to opportunity. By cutting out those retail illusions, the emotional spends, and the keep-up trap, many families actually can uncover an extra few $100s a month. When you realize that money is sitting right there, hidden in your own everyday habits, the question becomes, what will you build with it? Eliminating debt, funding a comfortable retirement, or securing your child's education are all incredibly empowering goals that feel vastly better than any temporary impulse purchase ever could.
Ultimately, the crucial point to take away from this explainer is that the goal isn't to stop spending, it's to spend with intention. You absolutely should buy things for your children and for yourself, but you should do it on your terms, driven by your true values and your actual budget, rather than being hijacked by clever marketing or fleeting social pressure. Take control of your money, teach your kids to do exactly the same, and watch how quickly your entire financial picture transforms. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Make sure to subscribe to MoneyForgeUSA for more practical personal finance education, and I will catch you in the next explainer.